Hey everybody, your friendly neighborhood TS Hawkeye here. I'm going to bring you another retro toy review from the raininess of my wife's basement. Hope you're all doing good. So the figure I'm going to talk about three figures. I'm going to talk about the original costume Daredevil, the red Daredevil, and the Fall from Grace Daredevil after the Fall from Grace storyline. A little bit of history before we get into the figures. Daredevil, Matt Murdock, was blinded when he was younger. He pushed an old person out of the way of a truck. The chemical spilled into his eyes. He got all these radar senses. He lost his sight. But then all of his other senses were enhanced. So, originally, he trained himself to become Daredevil. There was a limited series that came out in the 90s called Fall from Grace, Daredevil the Man Without Fear. It was written by Frank Miller and was penciled by John Romita Jr. and Klaus Janson. I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly. He inked it. And they kind of retconned that Daredevil was trained by Stick to fight the Hand. Now, I don't know if that's still canon, but since Frank Miller had a seminal run on Daredevil and really made the character, I think you can't talk about Daredevil without bringing up Frank Miller in the comics. He created Elektra. He made the Kingpin Daredevil's nemesis. He brought a very crime noir feel to the series. I'm lucky enough. I've read through trades. I've got a couple original issues. Just how much I think he changed the character. I don't know how popular he was before, but I know again, Frank Miller came on the book. He had done a lot of things. He had penciled it at one point. He wrote it. Every time Frank Miller's brought up, they speak about Daredevil. And that is a very good point to bring up, that he's very connected to this character. So again, Jesus, I'm pretty sure that's called The Man Without Fear. If you can find it, I'm sure there's a trade. It's a great read. All the creators were at their best in that series. The Fall from Grace was a storyline that started in Daredevil 319. The Man Without Fear limited series. That's what you should look up. And again, that retconned a little bit, but it was a good retcon. So, because, Daredevil's always kind of been a ninja-ish character, and that brought in the whole thing about Stick. There was even a nod to Trifod Mary. I know I'm saying that wrong. So, anyway, let's look at the figures. First figure we'll look at is the original costume Daredevil. I actually really like this costume. He wore this until Daredevil number 7. If I am not mistaken, I may be. Stan Lee wrote Daredevil, and Bill Everett was the original artist. Bill Everett created the Submariner back in the 40s for Timely Comics, which was Atlas, and then became Marvel. So, let's look at the articulation. And I'm going to use this one. The articulation on these two are exactly the same. It's just a straight repaint, but I think with the grainy camera, this one's going to show up a little better. So, Anyway, Daredevil turns at the head. He can look up and down. He has the shoulder. He has a turn on the shoulder. His elbow. His hands turn. He has the mid-torso cut. Excuse me. His hips. He has the thigh cut. He has the calf cut. And his legs are up and down, or his feet are up and down, and they pivot very nicely. The accessories that both these Daredevils came with were little set of little batons. I was going to say nunchucks. Daredevil also had a movie starring Ben Affleck. If you've seen it, I'm sorry. It is terrible. Thankfully, that's not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Charlie Cox played Daredevil on the Netflix series. I think he was brilliant as Daredevil, and I hope he gets the chance to play him in a movie. So, there are the batons. They're connected. I will put them in Daredevil's hands. Maybe. He holds them really well. This is a figure where the accessories really work well. All right, so there's the connected baton. And as I said, that is in two pieces. So we're going to pop that out. And we're going to put the second baton in his other hand. So he's ready to go. The really nice feature about these is Daredevil has a little holster, or a pouch. I don't think it's a holster. And these batons fit in really well. They're snug, but they're not so snug that you can't pull them out easily. So the detail on this figure is really nice. He does have, there's some nice paint apps. I'll show you the red one after. So, he's got the big D, which Demolition Man ended up reusing the costume with the Wolverine mask. So, there is first appearance Daredevil. As I said, he wore that costume until Daredevil number 7, where he adopted this costume. And as I've said, the articulation on these two figures are exactly the same. So, he's got the darker eyes. He's got the DD logo. His batons are red. It's I'm very pleased with both of these figures. They are basically, you can put these in poses that are great. We're going to talk about now, and I call this the Fall from Grace Daredevil, because in the probably about 93, that's where they killed Superman. Batman had his back broken. Spider-Man had Maximum Carnage crossover where he was all angry and nothing ever changed at the end. It was a terrible crossover, but they were changing up a lot of their heroes. So this has different articulation. I will show you the figure, and then we'll go into this. I actually, I like this costume quite a bit. He's got some, some metal. It's... Daredevil's one of those characters that I think, there's another Marvel Universe figure. It's the Shadowland Daredevil. It's got different colors on it. It might be a different sculpt. I don't have it, but I really, really want it. So, here's the articulation on the Fall from Grace Daredevil. His head turns. It's on a ball, so it looks up and down as well. He has the shoulder and the elbow. This is one piece of plastic. There's no cut there. I will show you this. He does have a molded baton on that arm. He has a closed fist. This one's open. He does come with another little gray baton. That's in a drawer somewhere. I couldn't find it. So he is articulated at the hips. He has double knee articulation. And his feet, they pivot and they go up and down. So this was a later release, whereas the other two, I bought these all retail. They all came on black cards. They were very late in the line. I had another Daredevil. It was a terrible figure. It was hunched over. His hands were strange. So, very pleased with all of these figures. This one could have used a little more articulation, but as he came later in the line, that's okay. You know, he's still a good-looking figure, a nice-looking figure, and I'd recommend all three. So, actually, a little bit more history about Daredevil. I think I mentioned Charlie Cox in the Daredevil. He went for 3 seasons on Netflix, introduced the Punisher in the 2nd season. Oh my gosh, if you haven't watched that, watch it. It is probably the best Marvel series. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, any questions about Daredevil, let me know. It's any comments. If I've made any, mistakes with his history, please let me know. I go off the top of my head with these. So it's not like I could probably take 5 minutes and research them, but I don't think that's as fun. So, like I said, your friendly TS Hawkeye here. Have a great night. Like, subscribe, share this video to everybody. Anyone that loves Daredevil will love this video. All right. Have a great night and keep on collecting.